Happy friggin' New Year, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back to the Master and Drum on this Whiskey Wednesday night. What is going on tonight? Tonight, we are going to find out what my favorite rye of 2022 is going to be. And I cannot be more excited to taste through these. 14. Yeah, there's 14 ryes tonight. Now, we'll get into like some of the rye whiskeys this year that I got to try and why I really think 2022 was the year of the rye whiskey. But we'll get into all that. But first, welcome in, guys. Cheers. Hope everybody had a great, happy, healthy New Year. I got a chance to get away. Went to Wisconsin, go visit Scott and his wife, and unplug a little bit. It was really nice, just nice, needed. Little bit of a break after all the blended getting craziness that there was. But hope everybody is joining me tonight. Gonna pour a couple of their favorite ryes that they had this year. Let's see here. Look at all them glasses. Good luck, Jason. Yeah, it's a lot of rye whiskey. But you know, I drank about 2 gallons of water today. I had a nice good amount of dinner here. I'm gonna take some small sips. It's really just about the impact of the palate on the finish of every single one. Now, I chose all of these because out of all the ryes I had this year, these are the ones that really stood out. And I'm talking aside from barrel picks, aside from special selections that people had, these were the 12 ryes that really stood out. So no matter what place any of these are in, they're all really good ryes this year, and there's really no losers. So before we get into the selections, let's see what everybody is talking to, what everyone's talking to each other in the chat here. Ryan Cecil's already said the signed bottle should earn a few extra points, right? Maybe, Ryan. I said maybe, Ryan, maybe. Just got the Seagrass Gray Label, proof version, pumped about it, opening tomorrow. Yeah, Kyle, that's in the mix, the Seagrass 16. Now, Seagrass was my rye of the year last year. Let's see if Seagrass can win it again, but this time with a higher age statement. But remember, the big difference with the 16-year Seagrass is that it's all Canadian. It's not, we don't have other distillate mixed in there from other states. It's all Canadian whiskey. So I think that makes a big difference. Don't see how Fourier Perry doesn't win this unless Jason has Barrel King on the shelf. No Barrel King Ryes. Been eyeing the 4-gate selections. I'm an Indian Pass on the Kelvin 4. Found it again. Can't bring myself to pull the trigger. I'll tell you this, Kyle. If you can find a 4-gate Kelvin 4 down the line, I would highly recommend it. Out of all the 4-gate, batches that they release, and I say this all the time, the Kelvin collabs are the ones you want to pay for because I think those are the most unique. They have really the most impact. Now, their Port Perry is in this mix tonight, so they make incredible ryes and they do some other stuff in between that's really great. But those Kelvin collabs are usually all hitters. So. Happy New Year to Sergey. What's going on, buddy? Nice to see you. He's drinking Old Forester Barrel Proof Rye. Drinks so nice on 130. Huge flavor. Happy New Year from Dunny. Sandy Cheem is here. How are you? Let's see. JC Marasegan is here. Sword King Kentucky are for sale. Price tag is $28.99. Jesus Christmas. That's ridiculous. Martin Waller, waiting for the live stream to start sipping some rare breed rye. Sag Sherry is the sleeper in this lineup. I agree. But don't forget, we'll go through the bottles, what's in here. There's a lot of competition in this thing tonight. Aaron Berry's here. What is going on, guys? I should pour Sag Sherry to join in. Maybe graduate to Old Forester afterwards. Michael S. is here. What's going on, man? Justin Jenkins, Terrence Scott, Adam Hinson. What's up, buddy? Patrick Cohn is here. What's going on? Eric Sawyer with the butterfly. The winner, ladies and gentlemen, real quick. Eric Sawyer, I put this little graphic together for him. If you missed last week, Eric Sawyer was crowned the 2022 champion for Blended. His winning blend, No Butterflies Were Harmed in the making of this blend, won out pretty unanimously. I think there was one other blend that was making a push, but his blend ended up winning the whole thing. So congrats to Eric Sawyer, Blended 5, 2022 champion. Eric, I'll be in contact for all your prizes. Same thing with Terrence Scott for winning the Frankenblend category. So you guys got a lot of fun stuff coming to you. Adam says, I'm going to join you. Whiskey Nose is in the house. What's going on, Marty Party? Nice to see you, man. The Daily Annual Weekly says cheers. What's going on? JG is here. Ed Williams. SD3 Gunners here. What's going on? Oh, from San Diego, man. What's going on, buddy? Nice to see you as always. Big Vic in the house. What's going on, Big Vic? Ben Dramon's here. There you go. Big Vic Energy in the house. I love that. Roman Carter's here and a bunch of other folks popping in. So yeah, Mark Mace, Katie Turk is here. There's a lot of people tuning in here. Already 277 in the chat. Okay, so last week, real quick, just want to kind of finish this off here. Again, congrats to Eric Sawyer for winning the whole thing, and congrats to everybody who got judged and made it, that far into to Blendageddon. But everybody that brought in blends this year, it was an absolute privilege to taste your blends, to go through them and taste them with some other great palates across WhiskeyTube and in the whiskey industry. Just incredible. It was an incredible year this year. Absolutely loved it. And I think one of the main things I loved too was just how everything kind of shook out, especially last week at the end. But I think the best part was raising with super chats, raising just over $23,400. I think it was $23,475, something like that, with the super chats. So with what you guys did on GoFundMe and then the super chats that night, over $23,000 will be donated to the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And I think that speaks to the whiskey community. It speaks to the level of support of not only me, but everyone across WhiskeyTube. So I can't say thank you enough for everyone for being so extremely generous and for raising that amount of money. I really kind of had to take a step back last week. I couldn't believe the amount of money that was raised. Big thanks to Darrell Stewart for, kind of doing a majority of the bottles, and everybody else that donated some bottles for the fundraiser as well. If you did win a bottle, all those are going to start going out this weekend and next week. Just started sharing the winners' names with everybody. There's a few that haven't claimed their prizes, but I'll try to put them in the comments tonight in case anyone is missing anything. So just an incredible night it was. So, all right, rye whiskeys. I'm going to try to get right into this with you guys tonight because I don't want to waste too much time. Basically, I'm going to break this up into 7. So there's 14 drams here. I'm going to do 7 first. The top 2 in that 7, I'll put aside. I'll do the next 7. Top 2 will make it, and then we'll figure out what those top 4 are, and we'll name my favorite rye whiskey of the year. So the contenders tonight. Let's get into that first. And as we're going through it, we'll talk a little news. We'll talk a little some of my whiskey predictions coming up for 2023, and we'll go from there. So let me put on a little music here. Background stuff. So much fun. I'm gonna make it too crazy. All right. So here are my ryes. My ryes of 2022. Well, first let's just get into this. Rye whiskey, I think personally was the most explosive category in whiskey for 2022. I mean, you talk about rye whiskeys just coming through with yes, there were a lot of bourbons, but I think the rye whiskeys that came out this year were absolutely incredible. Like really good expressions drop, people doing more experimenting with finishes in 2022. I think we saw some more Canadian rye whiskey being brought to the forefront and used in blends, used from other distilleries to which, Canadian whiskey used to be a dirty word. Now people are just dropping that shit in blends. It's pretty incredible to see the growth of that. I mean, you could talk about U.S., Canada, what craft distilleries are doing, what some of the big distilleries are doing with rye whiskeys. It's incredible. I think that it was a way better year for rye whiskey than it was for bourbon in general. Like I said, I thought we saw more innovation, more things being done. Obviously, this was kind of the 2022 was the year of the BiB Rye. We saw a lot of the bourbon rye blends, people utilizing more of that rye whiskey in some blended whiskeys that were absolutely fantastic. And I just think, years ago, not years ago, but let's go back maybe 5, 6, 7 years when, people thought like craft whiskey wasn't going to really make it. People thought craft whiskey was going to be, you know, this cute little thing, but they were never going to be able to go against the big boys. Well, now look what craft whiskey has done. Craft whiskey has driven the innovation to other distilleries, to the big boys. What they're doing, a lot of the big boys are following when it comes to finishing, when it comes to wood species, when it comes to different, when you're talking about entry proofs, everything has been going from the craft whiskey movement all the way up into the big distilleries, and I think it's absolutely incredible. So anyone who thought that the craft whiskey was gonna kind of go by the wayside, yeah, they no clue what they were talking about. So all right, so let's go through my selections tonight. Here we go. First one up, I won't spend a ton of time on this, but you guys will at least know the 14 that are in the mix. First, we have Pursuit United. This was from Ryan and Kenny of Bourbon Pursuit podcast. I absolutely love this blend. It reminded me of a higher proof Michter's bourbon. I'm sorry, Michter's straight rye whiskey. Absolutely love this one. We'll see how that makes it. You guys saw me talk about this one late in the year. The Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye. Now, I don't expect this to have a huge impact tonight, but I just thought it was so impressive for the age. I had to throw it in there. Next up, something I'm very proud of, and that's a local rye whiskey here in Columbus. It is Middlewest Spirits. This is the Middlewest Rye Whiskey. So this is a 5-year-old double barrel matured. So this is a tawny port finish, but this is their ported Pumpernickel Rye Whiskey. It's actually a really pretty bottle too. I don't know if any of you guys in Ohio have gotten this one. Very well done bottle here. This is the ported Rye Whiskey, and absolutely love this one. So we'll see. This is my second bottle. Luckily, these are still hanging around. I don't know what people are doing. These things are just hanging out on the shelf. Next up, Found North. We just talked about some Canadian rye whiskeys that have just been, making their way into some blends. Bardstown Bourbon Company, Found North. Bardstown Bourbon Company uses the Canadian corn whiskey. So this is the rye whiskey from Canada, aged 17 years. 17-year Found North rye whiskey. So we'll see how that one goes. Redwood Empire, the Emerald Giant Rye. Now, because I selected this one, because honestly, out of all the cask strength variants that were released from Redwood Empire this year, this was my favorite. It was super unique. It was absolutely delicious rye whiskey. I keep saying bourbon. Rye whiskey. Next up, this was a bottle that was gifted to me from Joseph Brazzers. This was the Woodinville cask strength 100% rye whiskey. Now, this one isn't really easy to find, but this kind of blew me away. I think the Woodinville rye whiskey is absolutely incredible. This is their cask strength variant, and I had to throw it in this year because it's that good. We talked about this one earlier, the Barrel Craft Spirit Seagrass. This is, as I mentioned, this is 16-year-old Canadian whiskey going through all the crazy shit that they put Seagrass through. Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels. So, a late entry to the party, Old Ezra 7-year. This was a new release just recently from Lux Row Distillers. The more I sip on this, the better it gets. So I figured, let's throw it in. It could be a wild card. See what happens. Midwinters Night's Dram. I'm just going to throw in here. I just kind of like to throw this in here just to see if it's getting better and better each year. I feel like it's getting better each year. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know down in the chat. But so this is the Act 10. This is this year's release. I think it's getting richer and darker the more they're using their own stuff. I just think, I don't know, the more their whiskey matures, the better the stuff is getting. So we'll see how it does. It usually doesn't do great, but we'll see how it does tonight. Then we get into some big boys. The Michter's Barrel Strength is always in the mix for Rye Whiskey of the Year because, let's just face it, it's that friggin' good. So, 4 more bottles left. We have 2 Sagamores in the mix tonight. The first Sagamore is the 5-year Bottled in Bond. So this is a pretty new release. Look at how when the light hits that bottle. Absolutely love it. Damn. Just a beautifully, this is one of my favorite bottles to like video. But this is their newest Bottled in Bond release. I believe they're up to 5 years old, and it's really impressive. The second Sagamore, you guys know it's coming. It's the sherry finish from Sagamore. You can't deny that this was one of the best rye whiskey releases. No matter what place this comes in tonight, this is one of the best releases of the year. And it still sits on shelves. I still see it hanging around. So I don't know what people are doing, but you're missing out. Then we have the Foregate Port Peri Peri. Of course, this was an absolute beast coming out of the gate. As soon as I tasted it, it's just one of the best ryes I had this year. And of course, the new Riff. The new Riff barrel proof sherry finish. This thing it's just a flavor monster. Now, what's interesting is like the colors of a lot of these whiskeys. I don't know if I'll be able to tell. Some are a lot lighter than others. Some are darker, so you can maybe tell if it's finished or not. But it's really going to depend on what we come across. But I'm just going to pick randomly here. So these are all poured blind. Have the envelope there. Have my notebook here. Let's start. Let's start with this one. Let's go with this one. I'm going to do the first 7. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. And we'll go here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I need one more. Shit. Now we'll go right here. Okay, so here's my first 7. Move these back. All right. So I do have the sample cam here for you guys tonight, so you guys can see some of the colors of some of these. So let's see if we could switch to the cam here. See what we got here. So here is the sample cam, and you could kind of see here from this side. Look at the color differences. We have light, medium, dark, medium, back to dark, and then a couple more medium ones here. So pretty pretty different across the landscape of all these samples. So it'll be fun to kind of check those out and see how they end up tasting. So all right. Okay. ZC, did that make you sick? Yeah, no spitting tonight, guys. This is pure. I'm going to be swallowing these, but I'm going to be taking smaller sips. I don't want to blow my palate out. I've had a couple pours of rye whiskey before this. I know everyone asked me how you're going to do all these. Generally, how I do this is I take small sips. I take a lot of water in between and just go through them. Like I said, I'm not going to spend a million minutes breaking down the nose and stuff. It's really about the taste. So let's go with the first one here. All right. I don't know which one this is, but there's definitely a finish on it. Oh, man. Super, super tropical here. While I'm tasting through these, we could go through a couple of some new labels that I saw pop up on, what's to see on the TTB. So a couple of fun little labels popped up. I actually saw this one. This is a Dixon Deadman's, his next release. So this is going to be called the Gem of Kentucky. And if you look on the back of the label, series is made up of hand-selected single barrels from his proprietary high rye bourbon mash bill. So this is obviously, oh man, that is sweet. I'm getting a lot of rum influence on here. A ton of rum, ton of apricot here. There's a lot of sweet. Man, maple syrup and rum. Maple syrup and rum on the nose there. Oh, this one gets way more savory. Really nice there. So what I would think this means is that we're going to have ourselves a... this is a contract distilled whiskey that Dixon worked on, which I think is pretty interesting. Not sure what you guys think about the next one. Let's see here. New Riff, Kentucky only. New Riff, Kentucky only. New Riff, Kentucky only. Grinch is green. I figured I'd leave the Grinch here. You know, he's green. He loves his rye whiskeys. What do we have to do to get considered for the giveaway? Give Super Chat or Patreon. Matt Strobel. There's no giveaway tonight. No giveaway tonight, buddy. Hey, we got Bruzel in the house. What's going on, Bruzel? Could number one be the Seagrass? I mean, that was my first inclination, but Uncle Ron, no toasted Michter's rye. I didn't get one this year, but I did get the barrel proof rye, which I absolutely love. This one is way more savory here, way more rye forward, a little bit fruity. This one's pretty dark. Let's see what we got here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that one smells like it's almost like umami. Like I'm getting, like, it's earthy, like mushroom, and it's like almost like mushroom and soy sauce. That's crazy. Holy hell. A little bit of chocolate too. That one's super different. Let's go to this one here. This one's very bright. This one's way more on the citrus, like black tea, like something you'd more expect from a rye. Okay. Let's go to this one here. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that one smells... I mean, look at the color on this one, though. This one smells ridiculous. This one's super sweet, super heavy, like maple syrup on the nose here. A little bit of dark cherry here, too. This one. Oh, all right. It's interesting when you nose all of them because they are just all across the map. Some are a little bit more savory, some are sweet, some are obviously have some finishes here to them. Oh, wow. And then this one is a little bit more of like a root beery, creamy type of nose to it. Oh, interesting. Okay. That one smells like something, I think. It smells like a brand that I'm trying to think of here. Okay. You should do 2 rye categories, traditional and finished. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it shakes out. And when we go through this, we could kind of see like what my favorite, as we kind of eliminating them and kind of going through my favorite. One of these that's going to pop out could be unfinished, but we'll see what some of my favorites end up being. Let me move this. All right, before I start tasting these real quick, look at this label. Jack Daniel's Bonded Rye. That's right. Jack Daniel's Bonded Rye. I think this was pretty like, we knew that was coming. And I could tell you this, now that we got that single malt this year, I think we're going to see a regularly released single barrel rye that's going to hit the market at some point. So, I'm sorry, just like a regular single malt release that's going to hit the market from Jack Daniel's as well. I think we see the bonded, we have the rye bonded. There's only going to be a single malt next, I think, at some point. Let's go here. Yeah, that's going to be great. OE is MGP. All right, next 4-gate. Speaking of 4-gate, I kind of have to giggle here from the name of it. The Majestic Wood series. Yeah, Majestic Wood. That's right. You all you giggling right now. Finished in Amburana Oak Cask. So Amburana, one of the big trends 2022. I only see more folks using it here in 2023 as long as those casks stay available for everyone. They also have, that one's going to be called, the Brazilian Amburana Oak. And then they have another one in the Majestic Wood series. They're going Mizunara cask as well. So we're going to see an Amburana and a Mizunara cask from 4-gate in the Majestic Wood series. Right. Can't hold them down. Jason, has there ever been a bonded single malt? That's a good question, actually. I feel like there's probably single malts that qualify, but have just never been labeled as such. So maybe this will be the first one we see with a bonded, label on it. Careful there, bud. You're going to get canceled. I don't think it's going to be a unicorn, Christine. I think it's going to be generally available. From what I've heard from 4-gate, it's not going to be like a small release or anything. But again, it's also going to be one of those things where 4-gate doesn't have a huge amount of distribution quite yet. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, this is a Wild Turkey hat. This is the Gobble Gobble. And then it has the Wild Turkey logo right underneath there. I love this hat. All right, one other one I'm going to touch on here before we get into tasting these. Bardstown Bourbon Company, another collaborative series. So again, this falls in with like Chateau de la Baude, the Goose Island, the Founders, the Plantation Rum. We have another rum, Foursquare rum, a blend of straight whiskeys finished in Foursquare rum barrels. Now, for you guys that do not know Foursquare is probably one of the best rum products that you're ever going to find. It is all natural, cane sugar, no added anything to it, non-chill filtered, pot still, 12 to 14, 16. They go up in ages. They do ex-bourbon, they do export, they do Madeira, they do everything. And it's one of the best rums you're ever going to find. So here's the breakdown of the blend. 90% is a 7-year Indiana, so 7-year MGP or Ross and Squibb, whatever you want to call it. Of their 51% rye, so it's a 7-year rye whiskey, and then they add a little bit of that 17-year Dickel in there. Probably just round things out a little bit. You add on a little bit of the plantation rum notes to that, and you have something that could be really, really good. Could be really, really good. All right, let's try this first one. Here we go. First taste of the night. Cheers. Let me know what rye you're sipping in the chat. Here we go. Definitely getting some of the tropical notes on the palate as well. Matching the nose, a little bit of maple syrup, a lot of spice here. There's a lot of black pepper on that one. One more sip here. Wow. The spice factor on that one is unreal. It just goes and goes and goes. Woo! Rare breed rye all day. M&G Squib Game currently. Sagamore double oaked for me. Awesome rye as well. About to be sipping that Pursuit rye. Absolutely love it. Thanks to Katie Turk and Drifting Drams. Nice. Hey, what's up, Donald Rance? Ross and Squibb sounds like a discount law firm on 80s TV legal drama. That's what I always say, Donald. It's like Jacoby and Myers. Like, don't forget, if you have any issues, call Ross and Squibb today. Big Vic is having the Midwinters Nights Dram Act 10, and he says, honestly, I'm not digging it like Act 9. Interesting. Bardstown Bourbon Company, Virginia Great Barrel Rye was a top rye of the year for me. That is, you know what, and Nathan, that's a good call out. I wasn't able to like really sit with it this year. I got that bottle like pretty late, but it is a fantastic rye. And you know, if you're a fan of that one, you're gonna love the Origin series of rye that's gonna be coming out here this month as well. So keep an eye for that. All right, let's try this one. This soft, sweet rye. That's tough coming off the first one because the first one is an absolute black pepper spice monster, and this one is a little bit more tamed down. Oh, that was better. Definitely way more savory here. I almost get like there's like a basil, thyme, cardamom, like spice cabinet thing going on in that one. Damn. It's actually pretty damn delicious. Do I like that better than the first one, though? That we'll go through it. All right, let's go to number 3 here. Oh my gosh. This smell. This was the one I was getting like umami, like super dark raisins, and this has to be one of the sherries. I smell sherry all day. There's a nuttiness to it. Jesus. Let's try this one. Oh, man. It's even better on the palate. This goes into raisin, plum, chocolate. Jesus Lord. That's not, I mean, that's just an absolute monster. Damn. All right, people calling Middlewest maybe? That could be the Middlewest. But that doesn't really, that's not coming off as port to me. That's coming off more sherry. So maybe it's the new Riff, or maybe it's the Sagamore. I don't know, but it's friggin' delicious. The finish is lacking a little bit on that one, but the flavor in the front of the palate is it's kind of has like a sneaky finish. Baby Saz. Terrence says, I know we were talking right now. Has anyone tried any of the Thomas More finished bourbons? The port intrigued me, and now I see even more coming out. Terrence, I gotta say, I was not a fan of those at all. The Thomas More ones, the finishes. I don't think they were worth the money. I think there's just better ryes, or I'm sorry, just better bourbons that are finished that are better than what they put out. I mean, unfortunately. Now, I don't know if they're keeping them consistent. They're releasing them each year. Are they different than years past? I don't know. But I know the first batch that I tried, I was not a fan of. So take that for what it's worth. All right. So the first two, actually 1 and 3 here, are kind of the standouts. Need some more water here. Got to stay hydrated. All right. Let's go to this one here. Jason, you want to hang out sometime? You bring the whiskey, says ZC. You bring the whiskey. Well, that's fair. I do have way too much that I can drink, to be honest. I kind of wondered if they were just overly finished, hiding bad bourbon. I mean, you could say that with most any finish, but that's why I've enjoyed the finished ryes more than the finished bourbons. I think the ryes work really well with finishes. All right, let's try this one here. Coming off this one has a little bit of there's a graininess to it. Very sweet. Not a huge finish on that, though. Oh, there's some more spice as you sip. That's another solid rye. I don't know if it gets into the realm of 1 and 3, but it's kind of in this realm between 2 and 4, I think, a little bit. Sweet rye, good lingering spice on it. That's nice. All right, let's go to number 5 here. Oh my gosh. Fucking shitting me? You're like a nice mixture of bourbon junkies and ADHD whiskey in the best way. Thanks, ZC. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think I'm nearly as funny as ADHD whiskey. And generally, the bourbon junkies and myself, we're usually pretty opposite on stuff we like. But this year, I think we're pretty. There's been a lot more we've agreed with than not this year. Oh my gosh, this is fantastic on the nose. This is all sweet. This is berries, chocolate. I think I'm getting like blueberry on here. Holy shit. Let's try this one. Oh. Gosh, dang it. That is so good. Valley Girl. I'm not Jay-Z wants me to do the Valley Girl. Ralph Handy. Yeah, guys, just pepper me with questions here as I'm going through these. This will kind of help me get through these here. My Starlight Madeira cask is on its way. Would be my first time trying them at a finished rye. Shout out Rarebird 101. Yeah, Rarebird does some great picks. I have the the Thomas More Cabernet Sauvignon finish. Not a fan. Yeah, wasn't a fan of that one either. Chuck still loves the butterflies. He does. Blueberry sounds like Michter's barrel strength. Like the junkies, Jason loves Blue Run in 2022 birthday bourbon. Did they love the birthday bourbon of 2022? I haven't seen that yet. I know they posted a video, but did they love it? I'm curious. It wouldn't surprise me if they did, but I thought it was a shit batch. I thought birthday bourbon this year was a huge disappointment. Oh man. This is really nice. Dan did. Dan like that doesn't dude. Dan loves he loves Brown Foreman, Old Forester. I thought it was flat and I thought it was uninteresting compared to other batches. I'm surprised. I mean, they loved last year's too. And I thought last year's batch was way better than this year's. So, well, Sean didn't like it, but Dan did. Yeah, I would probably have to agree with Sean on that one. All right, this is another delicious whiskey here. I mean, super fruit forward. I'm guessing there's another finish on that one. Let's go to this one here. Sean agreed with you. Yeah, it was not my favorite. I do not think it was that great at all. Patrick is enjoying the Bartown Goose Island tonight. A friend visiting Chicago sang it for me, really loving the chocolate. Patrick Cohn, that is a chocolate brownie in a glass. There's no going around it. Oh, coming off that, this got like this really nice sweet, like almost black. It's like a black cherry licorice hybrid on this one. Ooh. It just lacks the finish compared to some of the other ones. But that is a cherry black licorice combo. It just lacks a little bit of a finish, though, for me. Grateful to hear anything about Found North, what to buy, what to avoid. Giselle's Boston. When it comes to the rye whiskeys, the Found North rye whiskeys can be a little bit on the dill side. It is Canadian rye. So if you don't like dill in your rye whiskey, some of those more savory notes, that might not be your thing. If you like a sweeter rye, then Found North probably is not the way you want to, go down that path. However, the Found North American whiskeys that they do, or I should say the whiskey blends, not so much American whiskey, but the whiskey blends they do that are more corn than rye, those could be really good if you have a sweet tooth. I'll say this, guys. The Found North, I don't even know which batch it is. I think it's batch, I got to look on their website. But if you go on their website, they just released a wheater. They released a wheater that is one of the best things I've tried already for 2023. So if you guys want to check out the Found North website and grab one of those wheaters, if you have a sweet tooth, it is fan-fucking-tastic. I don't know what alchemy they did to get that type of rye flavor, to get that type of flavor out of a wheated whiskey. It's delicious. Yeah, batch 6, Jim. Batch 6, the wheated whiskey, wheated bourbon, whatever they did, it's so fucking good. How much on Patreon to see you bottle chug one of those old Carters behind you? You know what? If it was a different night, I'd bottle chug one of them. But I can't tonight with all these whiskeys, unfortunately. All right, let's go to the last one. All right, so this was the one where I thought had a specific profile that I thought maybe I knew what the hell it was. Is there any Blue Run in this flight? No Blue Run. I did not buy any Blue Run rye whiskeys this year, so no. Not at all. Well, that is very grainy, whatever it is, especially coming off these. It's just a little too grainy. I mean, it's like drinking a piece of rye toast. Yeah, not my favorite compared to the other ones. All right. So I'm going to take this one out already. Let's get that one out of the fray. That one is just not measuring up to the rest here. Not even sure what that is, but I can just already tell. Now, all these are pretty freaking, oh, Jesus. Let's go back to this one. This one was the cherry licorice kind of combo one. That was a very good sipper, but it's just lacking a finish. This is probably a great rye. Like I said, all the ryes that I selected tonight are absolutely delicious, but some are going to be better on their own rather than in a flight against things with higher proofs to them. And I think that's what's happening with this one. There's some great flavors here, but the finish compared to some of the other ones is lacking. So I'll take that one out. Remember, I'm picking my top two in this flight here, and we just have to see where we go from here. Oh my gosh, this one just smells delicious. Oh my gosh. That one is so good. That one's definitely in the running. Let's go to this one here. Oh man, this is like turning into candy in the glass. What the fuck? Oh, that is so sweet and delicious. That one might have to hang around. Let's go to this one here. This was the one where it's just an absolute sherry monster. And I'm thinking it could be, this has to be the Sagamore, the new Riff, because this is just all raisin and chocolate. And those are the only two ryes I remember really kind of getting that on. Oh yeah, the Sagamore Port was another really good whiskey, for sure. Out of the two like finished ones, I think that are finished here, I think I'm liking this one a little bit more. Let's go to number 2 here. Two is good, but yeah, this one's lacking too as far as flavor. All right, we're getting it narrowed down here. I gotta pick fucking 2 out of these 4. These are really good. This one was an absolute beast of a whiskey. Adam Hinson, I agree with this. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Is Ryan still hanging out? But this list is crazy good. Yeah, Ryan, I mean, consider your blend in really good company, Ryan, because, I mean, out of all these ryes I tried this year, I think your rye, what you guys blended, was really, really good. And you know what? I mean, it's 108 proof, 107 proof, whatever it may be. It may not tackle some of these proof monsters really well, but on its own, that was an incredible rye whiskey. Man, this thing is a monster. All right. I don't know what to pick from these 4 because they're all really good. I think these 3 are definitely kind of, they're great on its own, but they're not really competing with these 4. So I'm just going to leave these 4 aside here because I don't want to eliminate them quite yet. So let's eliminate those 4. We're going to line up the other 7 here, and we'll see what we get. All right. Going to take a little bit of a break here, though. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through some of the other... Oh, let's see here. When did the Sagamore Port come on? I was able to get the Sagamore Share, but I've not found the Port. The Port released a little bit later in the year, but it did re-release. Yeah, but the Sagamore Port was from 2021 mainly. I'm not sure how big the release was this year for it. I think the main new release was the Sherry Cask finish. Yeah, water break time, because we've already had 7 drams of whiskey here. So while we're doing that, Jason's getting hammered tonight. Right now, I feel fine, Big Vic. I feel fine. So let me get into a couple of news stories before we get into the next round of tasting here. And this goes into a couple of news stories I did want to talk to you guys about. Have you had the Sagamore Barley Wine Finished Rye? I did have that one. I had that at Sagamore for sure. Time for some Z-Biotics. I already took my Z-Biotics, Ryan. I'm good, man. You got to take that before you start drinking. All right, let's go into a couple of news stories here. Oh, actually, before that, there's a couple new labels I do want to talk about real quick that I didn't get to. Real quick, first one, Old Elk. They are coming out with a wheat and rye. So it looks like they're going to be Greg Metz, that crazy master distiller, going to be coming out with a blend of a wheated bourbon and a rye whiskey, which sounds pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to trying that. 108.4 proof. So there, that master blend series, we saw the 4-grain, we saw the double wheat. Now it looks like we're going to get a wheated rye almost, which I think could be a trend for 2023 as well. Some of these trends, I think we're going to see more use of. Well, I'll get to my predictions in a little bit here. Nulu also is coming out with some wheated variants, and not only that, but it looks like Nulu is going to be coming out with a bunch of different 4-grains: 4-grain toasted, double oaked 4-grain, double oaked wheated. If you go on the TTB and you see all in Nulu's labels they're coming out with, they have a bunch of stuff that they're working on, that they're blending and putting in different cask maturations to kind of see what happens. But I think I think that's the way everything is going to go to continue into 2023. I think we're going to see more BiB Ryes, more 4-grains, more wheated ryes, different uses of some barrel combinations, different types of. I think we're still going to see more of the Amburana, the French oak, these different types of casks that are going to be used. Mizunara, I think, is going to become more of a priority for some other distilleries as well. I think rum casks have, even though they've been used, I haven't seen a bunch of the bigger distilleries using rum casks quite yet. I do know that Wild Turkey, their next Master's Keep, is going to be a rum finish. So it'll be interesting to see if other big distillers follow suit, to see if we see more of those rum finishes. So that'll be interesting as well to see what happens in 2023. But here's some other news stories here. Let's get into the first one, and that is Wilderness Trail. Now, you guys know that Wilderness Trail was bought by Campari. Massive deal. But they also announced just today that they are going to be double bottling production. So they announced in its newsletter that they were going to double its bottling production rate this month thanks to a machinery upgrade. This was all broke. This news story was broke by Fred Minnick, of course. The seller said this upgrade is needed because the barrel inventory of aged bourbon and rye whiskey is doubling from 2022 to 2023 and is expected to double again in 2024. Right now, it's capable of processing 3,100 barrels per year. That's 3,000 bottles per day. In 2023, they need to process 5,000 barrels per year, which will be 6,400 bottles per day. That's crazy. The current technology is limited by the initial label machine, which restricts the line to 18 bottles per minute. So now we're going to ramp that up to about 28 to 30 bottles per minute. So a huge upgrade when it comes to what the hell Wilderness Trail is doing. Again, that's that Campari money coming in there. Not only will you see more production, I think you're going to see more marketing, more distribution. I just hope we won't see less quality. That's the thing you always worry about when these big conglomerates come in. I think Campari has generally left Wild Turkey alone for the most part, so that is encouraging to see what could happen with Wilderness Trail in the future here. Yeah, Wilderness Trail is so good, and I still think Wilderness Trail is overlooked. It's crazy. Kelsey Dime, what's going on, man? This is, what are your thoughts on wheated ryes, pros and cons? Wheated ryes, I think for me, I just haven't had enough of them to give you like a sound answer. I will say this: I think wheaters, as long as you're using a decent aged wheater in that blend to go with the rye, I think you're okay. Wheated bourbons at a young age they're just not, for my palate, they're not there. I think they come off grainy, they come off youthful, even more so than bourbon at 4 years old. I think a wheated bourbon, you could taste the youth in it more than anything. So I think if you're going to do a wheated rye, you got to put a little bit of age on it. But maybe the rye helps that. Maybe the rye kind of masks some of that youthfulness if you blend it correctly. So we'll see what goes on. I love malted ryes too, Mike B. I am right with you. Malted ryes are my wheelhouse. I love malted ryes. I think that they provide a little extra sweetness to the rye, with also keeping a little bit of that spice. Absolutely. How long until the first $200 Wilderness Trail LE now? Well, I mean, Wilderness Trail has released a couple of those. They did that. Well, no, it was never $200 though. That's true. I don't know. We'll see, Ben. We'll see what happens. If Wilderness Trail comes out with some, Wilderness Trail has not done a finish yet, have they? We've seen the ages go up in their products, but we haven't seen Wilderness Trail do a finish. I think when they come out with their first finish, whether it's a toast, whether it's a, I don't know, sherry port, whatever it may be, I think people are going to go fucking bananas for that shit. I'm just saying. For sure. All right. Next news story. Willet Distillery has announced a huge upgrade to what they're going to be doing as well to their facilities. So when you talk about Willet and what they're working on, apparently they're going to be pouring a shit ton of money into everything that they have going on. Let me see if I can find the news story here. I want to make sure that I'm reading from the right news story here. Willet. Man, where did that story go? Hold on a second, guys. I mean, this really centers around Willet pouring millions of dollars into their... Oh, here it is. $93 million investment from Willet. $93 million. Incredible boost of funds going into Willet right now. So they will invest nearly $93 million to support projects including the construction of a brand new distillery operation, barrel storage warehouses, and a water storage area for fire prevention. This will create about 35 new jobs. The construction project will be a 70,000 square foot facility on 150 acres. Construction of the project is beginning this month, this January. I mean, the amount of distilleries that are being built. Remember, Blue Run, speaking of butterflies, they're building a distillery. Pernod Ricard announced plans to build a $250 million Kentucky distillery for Jefferson's, which will be the next story we go to. Look at this. This is slated to be the new Jefferson's distillery. $250 million. $250. Pernod Ricard coming in to invest more in the booming American whiskey category. Jefferson's Bourbon will graduate to distiller status thanks to a massive investment from its parent company. On Thursday, French Wine and Spirits Pernod Ricard announced plans to invest about $250 million over 5 years to build a state-of-the-art carbon-neutral distillery with aging warehouses and a visitor center in Marion County, Kentucky. The distillery is intended to be carbon neutral once operational. Also planned to be the first distillery of its size in the U.S. to achieve LEED certification. It's an internationally recognized sustainability framework for healthy, efficient, carbon and cost-saving, environmentally friendly buildings, blah, blah, blah. Holy shit. I mean, the money that is being invested in distilleries is absolutely insane. Jefferson's, Willet, Wilderness Trail has a big investment. I mean, it got sold, but we're going to see a huge upgrade there. Like I said, Blue Run is building a brand new distillery. I mean, it's crazy. The Kentucky Bourbon Trail and all the stops you're going to be able to make now in the next several years is just going to be insane. Absolutely insane. Let's see here. Jefferson's moving on up. Way too fancy. Looks douchey. Looks like a high school. Who's buying? Justin Kim, I don't buy Jefferson's anything. I'm not really a big fan of Jefferson's and what they do. I mean, it's not what they do. I can appreciate the innovation, what they do, especially when they did it so early on. I'm just not a fan of their whiskey. Now, doing it themselves, distilling maybe their own mash bills and their own distillate, but we're not going to see this for very, very far down the road, just based on, time frames of everything. And Jefferson's normally is pretty expensive. So, you got to pay $90, $100 to really get any of their expressions. And Willet, by the way, is another one. I love Willet. I like their expressions. I think they make solid whiskey, but I think their prices are absolute bullshit. Their prices are fucking through the roof, especially those purple top bourbons. You can't tell me that a 6 to 7 year purple top Willet is worth $250 to $300 to $400. I'm sorry. There's no fucking way that I'm spending that money just because it's a purple top Willet. I can't. I think if Willet is, I think all these distillers, if they're going to be opening their own distillers and expanding, making their own shit, their prices better come down. Like Blue Run's making their own stuff at some point. When that stuff is ready to go, you're making it on your own. You're not contracting, you're not having to buy barrels or source. That price better either stay where it is or come down a bit. That's all I'm saying. If your price goes up because now it's a new fancy distillery and you're gonna put a premium on people paying for stuff that's your own, then you have the whiskey industry and what the consumers want completely backwards. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. I was hoping not to. What pisses you off more, Willet or Blue Run? I think Blue Run pisses me off more. I think the Willet purple tops, when I see those, there's something about Willet purple tops that are like 4, 5, 6 years old that are over $200 that just, that pisses me off when I see that shit. Then I see guys on secondary paying like $1,000 to get like a 6, 7, 8 year old Willet. Like, why? Why would you do that? I don't get it. Yeah, it's a mini rant. Can anyone say bourbon bubble? Yeah, the bourbon bubble has not burst yet. It's still expanding. It's still rising. Honestly, with all these investments coming in, you thought that was going to be a kind of a bourbon bubble burst. It has not happened yet. It is still expanding to huge, just it's incredible. I can't wrap my head around all the money that's like getting thrown around. It's just crazy. $3.99 was a price of a last purple. Yeah, and Dunning, how old was that purple top? Was it like 4 or 5 years old for $400? What was it? Yeah, and that's the other thing. So that's a really good point, Bourbon. Noah's Mill, Willet Pot Still. What are some of the other ones that they make? The lower level ones. I can't even think of them right now. Help me out in the chat. What are some of the other? The economy is shrinking. That bubble on secondary prices, though, seeing a lot of bottles starting to come down. Still crazy to move. Yeah, Bruzel, I would totally agree. I think the one thing that we are seeing is a slowdown in secondary market pricing. Now, when it comes to BTAC and some of the other special releases, yeah, those are going to stay the same. But I think some of those prices are coming down. I don't think the markups are coming as big as they once were. I think the lines at liquor stores are still very popular. I think what I'm seeing, though, is a little bit of a shift when it comes from people that the guys that have been hunting bourbon for the last few years. I think are getting kind of fed up with the lines and everything else. I think the new folks that are coming into bourbon that are still chasing Buffalo Trace because that's the greatest thing, that God has ever created, are still looking for blends and all that stuff. So there's quite a little bit of shift that I'm seeing, at least here in Ohio, a little bit. I think people are still looking for those big bottles. But, Rowan's Creek is the other one. Rowan's Creek. Noah's Mill. Johnny Drum. There's a lot of accessible Willet whiskeys out there that no one buys, but a purple top comes out for like $600 and people jump all over it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Crazy. All right. One other one, because it affects Wild Turkey. Here he is. All right. Mr. Matthew McConaughey has announced that he has ended his partnership with Wild Turkey. Now, it doesn't really affect, I don't think, much of anything. His main job was Long Branch and some of the other, that was really the only thing he kind of put his name on. But they will continue without Matthew McConaughey as a partner. His signature has been absent from bottles of Long Branch just this year. Actually, just last year. as December 9th. So if you see December 9th, if you see any of the Long Branch bottles, you won't see Matthew McConaughey's signature on it. It launched in 2018, got a lot of praise at first from critics. Celebrity booze is a big thing, obviously, as you guys know. But Long Branch for me was kind of a, not my favorite, but it's a great summer whiskey. It's really easy over ice. It almost tastes like iced tea. So yeah, they are parting ways, which I think is interesting. So we'll see what happens in the future here. But that is it for the news. A lot of shit going on. All right, let's get back into the rye whiskeys. Let's go to this one here. Ooh. This one definitely has some. There's definitely a finish on here. Let's take a sip of this one. I'm just gonna sip these right through. Oh damn, that's nice. That is. It is savory and sweet. Really nice balance. Man, first sip after coming off a little bit of break. That's kind of nice. Long Branch is a nice, easy sipper. 101 over Long Branch. Yeah, I would definitely say 101. Are we in the bourbon bubble? Yeah, I still think we're in it, Sandy, for sure. I think Johnny Drum is actually a solid bourbon. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'd much rather have it over Willet fucking Pot Still, that's for sure. Let me see here. Also, is Majestic Wood just a different of Long Branch? I don't know. Drifting Drams it might be. What do we got here? Okay. This is very good, but very light. Not overpowering type of rye whiskey. Wow, that is just a. I mean, I don't really know how to. It's this glass. Whatever's in this glass is like the perfect combination of sweet and spice. Got a long lingering finish here. That is really nice. Whatever that is. This one's a little bit more fruit forward. I would guess just based on the color here, that's a finish something. But damn, this one here is really nice. I mean, let's be honest. Long Branch at the bottom of the Wild Turkey hierarchy, right above the 81 proofer. I would agree, Terrence. Not my favorite, but I do think there's a place for it. I think people even just getting into whiskey. I mean, Long Branch is one of those whiskeys I take out in the summertime, put it over ice, and it literally tastes like iced tea. It's a really easy sipping bourbon. I have a 6-year purple top. Definitely has youth on the palate. Jason, you say that you have Kentucky Owl Batch 4 in here. Batch 4? Is that the final batch? Because if that's the final one, yeah, I do have it. Ryan Cecil says, we may be in a bourbon bubble amongst the top 5% of whiskey drinkers, but it still hasn't hit mainstream yet. I agree, Ryan. I think that, like I said earlier, I'm still learning about more new folks coming into the whiskey mainstream. And I think it's more confusing for them each and every month when you walk into a liquor store and you just see the multitude of releases. I mean, it's crazy. They don't know where to start. So their first inclination, because what everybody tells them, is to track down something from Buffalo Trace. And normally that's not going to go very well because just Buffalo Trace stuff isn't that available. I mean, regular Buffalo Trace bourbon, Eagle Rare, I mean, it really depends on the state you're in. But, I mean, here in Ohio, it's nowhere to be found unless you're waiting online every morning. Other states, some of them sit on the shelf. I've seen Eagle Rare. I've seen even regular Buffalo Trace being upcharged to a certain point because it's Buffalo Trace. But, yeah, I do agree with that sentiment, Ryan. All right, let's go to this one here. This is... Thoughts on Dickel 15 single barrel? Seen this recently for $75. Curious. Giselle's Boston. I might be in the minority, but I love the George Dickel 15-year single barrels. With a caveat, they have to be over 100 proof. Do not buy a Dickel 15 single barrel that's one of the 80 proofer or 90 proofers. You got to get one that's the 100 proof or higher, because at that age they can get really, really special. If you don't mind a little bit of that Dickel flavor profile, but the higher the ABV, I think the less you get. I think the lower the ABV, the more that minerality you get. But at a certain proof point, and remember, those 15-year single barrels can get up to 16 and 17 years. So you're getting a 17-year-old whiskey that qualifies as a bourbon for less than $100. I mean, that's unheard of. And I don't care if you're a Dickel fan or not. That is one of the best values in whiskey today, even more so than Elijah Craig Barrel Proof if you think about it. As long as you get the higher aged variants of it. Oh, shit. That one surprised me. That's fucking delicious. Oh, my gosh. That just hit me with a bunch of spice, a huge amount of flavor here. Wow. Wow, this is like vanilla and caramel heavy. A lot of sweet. I would guess that's a low rye. Holy shit. That is just a punch in the face of flavor. I'm circling that one. That one's really good. So far, these two are good, but it's not really making me circle anything. This third one, shit. That one is kind of a beast. Thank you for the sound advice. Let's see, Jason, you got to try Dickel Barrel Proof from Backbone. They do picks. Oh, shit. By the way, the Backbone pick that I just got from ADHD Whiskey, the Slippin' Jimmy, is probably one of the best NGP Backbones I've ever had. That was an absolutely sick pick. I'll have what the Grinch is having. You know, you can't take his Wild Turkey Austin Nichols. Ain't happening. If we ask Jason to get up and get the bottle of Kentucky Owl Last Batch Rye, what's the likelihood he falls over? Yeah, that one's actually in my bunker. It's not even here in the whiskey room. I have a bunker in my storage area with a bunch of bottles, but I'm not even that. So I have some bottles in there that I'll probably save for a little while. All right. Man, that third one was freaking amazing. Let's go to number 4 in this lineup here. Oh. Another really deep, dark, rich flavor profile in these ryes. It was definitely Backbone. Richie Z, Jason, that new Dickel 17-year I'm seeing just doesn't interest me at all, especially at an instant secondary. Yeah, Richie Z, I don't understand the pricing model for that, and I think that goes into some of my issues with a lot of the pricing models that we saw in 2022. I normally call out Jim Beam for this because Jim Beam wanted us to pay $80 to $100 for a 2-year-old Hardin's Creek just because it was a different entry proof. Yet they had the Knob Creek 18-year. Oh, excuse me. Got the hiccups here. Oh my gosh. What is happening? All right. There we go. The Knob Creek 18-year for less than $200. So I think Dickel has normally been extremely reasonable on their price points all along the line, but that 17-year, I think they really wanted to position as a premium product. So they slapped a $250 price tag on it, you know, and it's a 17-year-old, and we just talked about the single barrels that can get up to 17 years old. And the 17-year, that's the special release, is actually a lower proof than some of the single barrels that you can get at 17 years. That type of stuff, the normal consumer, to Ryan Cecil's point, the normal consumer would maybe not see. They would just see the limited release value of it and jump on it and pay the premium for it. without knowing that you can get Dickel 17 or Dickel 15 picks that are 17 years old for a lot cheaper. So again, this comes into education and to know what you're looking for. ADHD whiskey, that Dickel 17 will still be on the shelves in 40 years. I agree, Matt. Ooh. This is another very, very sweet rye. I don't think it's as sweet as this one, but man, this is candy. This is candy rye. Candy rye in a glass. All right, let's go to this one. Ooh. Oh, this has a beautiful nose. This is very bright, very fruity. Ryan Cecil says, I had a buddy that wanted to buy a really good $200 bottle for his boss, and I was like, can you spend 50 to 100? Yeah, I mean, there are so many bottles under 100 that can go head-to-head with a $200 bottle. Just because it's a limited release doesn't mean it's worth the money. And I think that's the job of whiskey reviewers, Whiskey Tube. I don't think the websites and a lot of the publications do a good enough job at giving that information. They just want to tout the limited release right away. Whereas I think, and not to be biased because I'm part of it, but I think Whiskey Tube gives folks the best education and podcasts as well. I think, what Ryan does with Kenny, Bourbon Hunters, Bourbon Lens, and many other bourbon podcasts can give you that type of information that you don't get to really see in publications. That can be a little bit because of advertising. That's what it comes down to. But that's the truth. Oh. That one right there. Ryan Cecil says, trust me, I know. Yeah, Ryan, I mean, I know you know. Oh, my God. This is really good, too. This is... Ooh. This might be another sherry one. Getting a lot of raisin, chocolate, nuttiness, but some really good rye spice. Very well balanced. Chris Dunning, you have been important to my whiskey education. You keep it honest. I try to, man. I try to keep it as honest as I can and steer everyone in the right direction. But again, it really comes down to palate. You have to trust someone that has the same palate as you, because, I mean, just as we were talking about earlier, the junkie, like Dan loves Birthday Bourbon 2022. I fucking hated it. Not hated it. Hate's a strong word. I just think it was a very, very well below subpar batch of Birthday Bourbon, but Dan loved it. So if you have a pour of that, you go back and forth. It really depends on what you like in your palate. That's what you have to start lining up with. So this one is an absolute hitter. Let's go to this one here. Kobe Hag, has anyone else had any Blue Note single barrels? One of my favorites. Some of the Blue Note single barrels have been very good. If you talk about the juke joints, absolutely great values too. I will say this, if any of you guys follow Stuff and Whiskey, they are releasing their first Blue Note juke joint single barrel on Friday. And that was one that me and Scott from the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club got to collaborate with them with, kind of get their first barrel pick out the door. And when we tasted it, it kind of came through as peanut butter chocolate. But as the bottles opened up, a dark fruit note has emerged. And it's just a really good Blue Note pick. And it's a great value, too. Midwinters Night's Dram experience thoughts. I think the later batches have been getting good, Rugby 7s. They drink a little bit light for me, but I see why people love them. There's a lot of cinnamon, a lot of clove, a lot of those holiday spices in it. I would not pay more than retail for it. I know some people do because they want to have it in their collection, and I get that part of it. But if you just want to drink it and enjoy it, I mean, Midwinters and the Sagamore sherry and the Sagamore, well, not the Sagamore port, but the Sagamore port whiskey, Sagamore port finish rye whiskey is a great alternative to the Midwinters Night Dram. You don't have to go crazy and pay for a good port finish rye whiskey. I got the Midwinters Night, not the winter, the Middlewest Spirits one in here. That's, I think, could kick the Midwinters Night Dram ass. I just think that there are so many good finished rye whiskeys. For example, here, I'll pull this bottle here. This is a Starlight that I did for the Master Journey Whiskey Club. We call this one an Indiana Nights Dram because it's a port finished, it's a estate port finished rye whiskey, and I think it absolutely hammers Midwinter's Nights Dram. So I think people chase Midwinter's Nights Dram based on the name and the kind of the cachet it has, and I get that. But if you can't find it, there's so many good port finished rye whiskeys that you can try. Sagamore, Starlight, even that Middlewest one that's in this blind tonight. We'll see how it does. All of them can do really well. So, all right, my last two here. Frey Ranch, good value. The Frey Ranch single barrels are absolutely incredible. Delicious. If you could find the Frey Ranch single barrels, I think the Frey Ranch Ryes are actually really undervalued. So if you could find one, definitely get one. I'm hoping to get a pick this year. Jason, are we going to see you in court for copyright infringement? Terrence McDermott? Copyright infringement. Oh, for the India? I don't think so. I think I changed the label up enough. That should be okay. Was High West the first to do a port finish rye? I don't think they were, but I think they were the first one to do it right. This is really solid, but it's not completely doing it for me. Again, solid rye, but it's not giving me not a great finish on that one. Again, this might be another rye that's really good on its own, but not amongst all these other great rye whiskeys here. Angel's Envy, says JJ. Yeah, no Angel's Envy for me. Angel's Envy is great for beginners. I'll give it that. But other than that, doesn't really do anything for me too much. I actually have the Angel's Envy Cider Cask Finish Rye that really did not make this list because this wasn't enough here. All right, let's go to this one. Ooh, another really savory rye. Oh. Holy crap, what the hell is that one? This is like drinking orange marmalade, chocolate, and mint. And I love everything about it. The orange on that last whiskey is through the fucking roof. That thing is crazy. All right. Angel's Envy Rye is my absolute favorite. MJ. Well, Angel's Envy Rye doesn't really taste like a rye to me. It tastes like maple syrup and marshmallows because the finish on it is so heavy. Jefferson's Ocean Rye, I think, is disgusting. I hated it. I'm sorry. I think it was the double oaked Jefferson's Rye that I did not like at all. I tried that thing live, and it was very black licorice. If you like black licorice, I think that was a great dram for people. But for me, I'm very sensitive to black licorice, and I did not like that Jefferson's double oak rye at all. It was too much black licorice for me. All right, I think this one right here, if I have to go off of what I just tasted here, This one's solid, but it's just not enough going on. That one has to be eliminated. Now, when it comes to shit, I don't even remember all these. I'm going down the list here. So that was this one. I'm going to X that out. We're back to this first one here, which is really nice on the nose. This one definitely has a finish on it, but it's not like punching me in the face here with the finish. It's a little bit too delicate. Again, this could be another rye. Again, all the ryes that I tried that I picked tonight were all ones that impressed this year. But now when you put them head to head, I think that you start picking out ones that are a little bit more flavor forward, a little bit more punch you in the mouth with flavor and finish as well. Was it so bad you needed to do the Minix spit? No, not the Minix spit, but it was kind of bad. It was bad enough that I didn't want to take a third sip of it. Oh shit, Dusty Dan in the house. What's going on, Dusty? This second rye was really nice. I mean, this was very sweet, very spicy. Let's go to the third one. The third one I circled because it's an absolute flavor monster, and it still is. Damn, that's good. Compared to these two, I like this one more. So I feel like these two are falling behind the third one, which is good. So this one might be a favorite here, whatever this is. Let's go to this fourth one here. We're getting into like the nitty gritty here. This is getting tougher and tougher to kind of pick out what I like. Yeah, this one I really liked. Oh god, that one's so good. So far, these two I think are in the lead for me. Let's go to this last one here. I really did like this last one. God, this is like a straight orange bomb, which I love. All right, this one's a little bit easier with this 7. This one's close. It's very close. I'm gonna kind of. These are the ones kind of eliminated here. I'm going to. This one's really close too. I'm gonna probably eliminate that one, I think. I'm keeping this one. I think it's gonna be these 3. I don't think these 2 have it. So these 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm down to like another 7 here with these guys. So these are going to be kind of my top whiskeys here, guys. These are kind of like my 7. These are the ones that I have to figure out which ones are going to be my favorite of the year. But I've eliminated 7, and now I'm left with 7 here. Let's take a little bit of a break. Take some water here. Where's the Van Winkle 13-year rye? Yeah, 100% pure mustard. That's not happening. I also think that's one of the most overrated ryes on the planet. Smoke Wagon Rye. So I've gotten this question before, and while I think it, holy shit, 533 people in the chat. Please hit the like button, guys. I really appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. Smoke Wagon Malted Rye I liked a little bit better than the Bottled and Bond Rye. The experimental series ryes I think were great, but they were very, very pricey and highly allocated. I like the malted rye over the bottled and bond rye, but I still think they weren't that, they weren't, I don't know. Let's just say I wouldn't overpay for them. If you could find at retail, they're solid ryes, but there are so many good rye whiskeys nowadays. I think the old Ezra 7 could go right up against those smoke wagons and some of these other ryes that we're trying tonight as well. I think the best rye that, that people tend to overlook is the Sagamore cask strength. And not just because I'm wearing their shirt, but if you like a high proof rye with a lot of depth of flavor, I mean, that shit is amazing. Discovery 7. Tyler. 7 I really liked. I love the 7, but if you can hold out and find the 9 is even better. I would try to find the 9, Tyler. That would be my advice. Master, I'm pretty sure you just took the first ride in the group 2, which is glass 3. You like so much by. Pretty sure you got the first ride in group 2, which was glass 3. You like so much by accident. I'm going by the glasses that they're in because there are markings on the glasses. So I'm pretty sure I got what I needed here. So I think I'm pretty good. Yeah, I'm definitely pretty good. What I'm looking at. So these are my top 7. Now just a matter of figuring out what I like most here. Yes, new Riff malted 6-year is delicious. It's a hands down pick me up. Absolutely. I love my Sagamore cask strength almost as much as my Sagamore sherry finish. Yeah, I could see that. Chateau de la Baude 2 for 130. Buy or pass, Jason? 130? 130 is actually not bad for that. It is an Armagnac finish. It's not as good as the first one, but it is a really solid finished whiskey. I don't know, for 130, I would probably hold out. I wouldn't buy that for that much money, to be honest. Also, the Balboa Rye from New Riff, I think, is amazing. Really unique rye whiskey profile there, too. $170 for Midwinters Nice Dram. Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, no thanks. Okay, let's get into these 7 and see what. Well, actually, you know what? You guys want to find out what we eliminated so far? You guys want to do that first, and then we'll get into the tops? You guys want me to kind of go through the eliminated ones first and see what happens? Actually, no, I can't do that because I have the envelope here. I don't want to know what's what yet. I'm sorry. My bad. The envelope is closed. I can't actually find out what's eliminated yet. Let me pick these first, and then we'll get into the eliminations. All right, first one here. Oh, fuck, that's good. That is so good. That second one is so ridiculously good. All right, let's go to this one here. Man, that's really good too. It's gonna be real tough, guys. I mean, oh my gosh, the fuck. Oh my god, these are so good. All right, this one's coming off a little bit more crafty, whatever that is. But I'm going to separate the top 7 from the, I guess we'll call it the bottom 7 here, even though they're all really good. Yeah, let's go to this last one here. Oh, Jesus. All right. I think this glass right here is my last place of this 7. So I'm going to kind of separate that, keep that there. We'll go in with a little bit more water here. I mean, these are the creme de la creme, guys. These are really good rye whiskeys. I'm not really sure where to go from here. Shit, these are really good. Time for another Z-Biotics. No, I'm feeling good right now, actually. So, oh shit, Black Bourbon Family's here. Jason and Brandy. Nice to see you guys. Raise your drinks up casually. You guys gotta go check them out. So, real quick, tomorrow I'm gonna be in Louisville, Kentucky. Really exciting project. I was Heaven Hill actually brought me on to do a special video to talk about their rye whiskeys, the history of rye whiskey. So I'm going to be sitting down with Bernie Lubbers, who's their kind of their Heaven Hill brand ambassador / historian tomorrow in Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm going to be making the drive tomorrow morning, nice and early, and getting down there and doing a full video shoot to be shown on the channel and also through Heaven Hill. Just an amazing opportunity, so I couldn't be more excited. And it's all about rye whiskey, which is kind of fitting because I'm drinking all these beautiful ryes tonight, and I cannot wait to do that tomorrow. So if any of you guys are in Louisville tomorrow, let me know. Yeah, I'm really excited. So yeah, they kind of reached out to me directly, which is funny because Heaven Hill, they don't send me samples. I don't really have like a big relationship with them, but they were like, hey, we like your channel, the history aspect of it. So, would you like to come down and talk to Bernie Lubbers and stuff like that? So I cannot wait tomorrow to get down there and just film something really incredible for viewers. Really not just really for Heaven Hill, but the history of rye whiskey. Because Bernie Lubbers is an absolute mastermind when it comes to those historical stories that he has about American whiskey in general. And rye whiskey, to some extent, might predate bourbon. So rye whiskey has been around for just years and years and years. I think it's really interesting to see how the Germans and the Scots came over, kind of built their own brand here with making rye whiskey. Obviously, it was prevalent in Pennsylvania, Maryland. You have Monongahela rye whiskey versus Maryland-style rye whiskey. We're going to get into all that tomorrow, and I cannot wait. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. So, video to come. A little bit of a preview for you guys. Absolutely. Just had a Templeton 10-year rye. It's really nice up front, but just falls flat in the finish. I totally agree with that, 100% pure mustard. I think the Templeton 10-year... Actually, I think I have it right here somewhere. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Here it is. Templeton single barrel 10-year rye. One of the most beautiful bottles in the game, I think. But yeah, I would agree. I think the rye aspect of it, the finish doesn't really come off like a finished rye. So, or it doesn't finish like a rye should. Be careful, you'll pull your rye out. I like that. Parker's 8-year heavy char rye is freaking amazing. Bourbon's older brother. Ask for a media sample of Parker's heritage while you're there. Well, I actually got one, guys. I don't know if you... Can you see it? There it is. Look. I got the new Parker's. The new Parker's double barrel blend. You know what? You guys hang out long enough with me tonight. I will try this. I will crack this open and try this with you guys tonight. You guys ready for that shit? Let's go for it. We'll open that. We'll crack that bottle open tonight. As soon as I figure out what the hell is in these glasses. Okay. Bernie's favorite pour is McKenna 10, by the way. Okay. Thoughts on Whistle Pig Rye, says Adam K. I love the 10-year for the money, Adam, but I'm not a big fan of paying those higher prices for any of the other ones that they have. But the 10-year, I think, is a solid rye whiskey. All right, let me just taste through these real quick. I will, Rob. Don't worry, Rob. Rob D, I got you. This thing is just ridiculously good, whatever that is. Gosh, that's so damn good. Oh, this one too. And you have this one. Oh gosh. This what the fuck is this? Jason, if you had the 4 Roses 22 LE, so what's the most you would pay for it? Jason W, I have a sample upstairs. I haven't dove into it yet. I'll probably maybe do that next week. I have a bunch of blind tastings that that a couple folks sent me that we'll get into next week, but I haven't tried it yet. But I've heard good things. Greg says, tried several. What can you recommend for a slight newbie? Tried several what, Greg? Like several bourbons? Ryes? What are you looking for, Greg? 6'5", 6'8"? Oh, gosh. All right, I have to try to figure out how to place these. These are all delicious rye whiskeys. It's just going to come down to when you're kind of confused, at least for me, let me know in the chat, guys. If you're doing a blind tasting, what do you put more emphasis on? Is it the flavor punch in the beginning of the palate, or is it the finish? What is it? Are you looking for both? Are you looking for one or the other? It's always interesting to kind of hear from everybody. Steven Sussman for the first super chat of the night. Thank you so much, Steven. Nice to see you as always. Thanks for the support, man. First super chat of the night. Thank you so much, Steven. Appreciate it. All right. I gotta say, these two right here are just, let's see, flavor punch. Recommended Ryes, love bourbon, Scotch, and Irish, says Greg. Oh, for a newbie. Jesus, Greg. I mean, that could be anything. All right, Greg, when it comes to bourbon, look for, Elijah Craig, Edwin Williams Bottled and Bond, Early Times, bourbon, Old Forester, 1910 or 1920, Knob Creek, 9-year. There's a bunch there that are pretty available. Even 4 Roses Small Batch Select, I think, is an overlooked bourbon as well. When it comes to Scotch, the most Scotches I give to beginners, Bunnahabhain 12, Glenfiddich 14, Compass Box Spice Tree, Deanson 12 if you have it. Absolutely. Yep. Oh, shit. Here come the super chats. JG, thank you so much. Rye Whiskey, rock tonight. Thank you, Mark Mace. Appreciate you, man. Forgate in Jason's left hand. We'll see. We'll see. I think these two are pretty special. Those might move on. I'm going to separate these two. Let's get into these 4 now. Oh, that's really good, too. Oh, gosh. This is really good. That's going in the top 3 somewhere. What do we got here? In blind, says Griff, I usually go for mid-palate and finish. Yeah, Griff, I'm probably with you, man. Absolutely. This one's good, but it's a little flat. Eric Barbarian says Seagrass Rye is the rye that Willy Wonka made to toast Charlie winning the chocolate factory. I agree. I'm going to put that there. these two. These are kind of, I think these are my top three, I think, right here. Russell's LLK thoughts is it's the last release. One of the things that, not that I'm disappointed, but things that I've not liked about the newer whiskey, Wild Turkey expressions is they're getting sweeter and losing a little bit of the spice. I've seen it on Wild Turkey 101, especially the newer bottles. I've seen it on some of the Russell's Reserve single barrel picks. Not so much the rye. I'm sorry, the Russell Reserve single barrel picks have been okay. It's the rare breeds. I think the newer rare breeds are getting a little bit softer, and the Wild Turkey 101s. What drives me to Wild Turkey all the time is the spice factor. So if they're starting to lose that, it's a little bit disappointing to me. So I'd rather go to like a Russell's or something a little bit more higher proof from Wild Turkey to, to kind of help me with that. It's just one of those things that, listen, I love Wild Turkey. Anything they put out, it's just, I think their newer stuff is getting a little bit softer. And let me know, in the chat if you guys have experienced that. Like, if I'm a regular Wild Turkey 101 drinker, and I feel like some of the newer bottle, the newer label has come off a little bit less spicy than some of the earlier labels. And then, I don't know, it's not that I don't like it, but it's a little bit, I wish it was a little bit better than that, honestly. Eric's owner says, Down Home Toasted Barrel Rye is one of my favorite ryes. Oh, that's a good call out, Eric, for sure. Thank you so much for the super chat. Okay. So between these two, this one. All right, guys. I think I have my order here. There's a lot of glasses. All right, let's go to the finals. Here's the envelope, as beautifully put together by my girlfriend Kim. Thank you so much, sweetie. I love you. And stick around because we're gonna crack open this bitch and see how it is. All right, let's see. That's a big list. All right, so let's see what I eliminated in the bottom 7. There were 14 ryes. Again, guys, all of these ryes, if you had a chance to taste them or get them, amazing. Some of the best ryes that I tried this year. Let's get into the bottom 7 that just didn't hold up in this blind tasting. First one. Let's see here. First one is the Woodinville Cask Strength Rye. So Woodinville Cask Strength Rye does not make it into the fray. And I think that was the grainy one. That one just didn't really do it for me. I think I got a lot of the rye grain in that. Let's see. Greer says, I will be surprised if it's not Michter's. Great job as always. Thank you, Greer. Yeah, in no particular order, but somewhat of an order. So the Woodinville Cask Strength Rye, I think, was the one that came off really rye heavy. So we'll see what happens with that one. That one gets eliminated. Next one up is letter J. Let me try this one here. Yeah. That one belongs to wait a second. What happened here? What letter is that? Sorry, guys. Hold on a second. Wait a second. Are you kidding me? We have an upset. We have an upset. Falling behind, getting eliminated in the bottom 7, which I did not expect. is the 4-gate Peri Peri. Like, yeah, I'm frozen. What? 4-gate Peri Peri. Eliminated. Oh my god. How the fuck did that happen? Okay. We're just gonna move on because this is why you do blinds. Okay. Third eliminated goes to letter M. Letter M is the Pursuit United. So letter M is the Pursuit United 7cc rye. Again, this is one of those ryes that is a little bit of an easy sipper. Blinds will rock you when you're not looking. Yeah. So this is a really, really good rye, the Pursuit United, but it's just not. I think it had a hard time, standing up to the rest of them. Wow. I'm already pretty floored, guys. All right, next one. Letter L goes to the Sagamore. The Sagamore Bottled in Bond. So the Sagamore Bottled in Bond 5-year is in the bottom 7. Again, really solid, delicious rye. I think just the proof on that probably hurt it. Let's go to the next one, which is G. Letter G is the Old Ezra. The Old Ezra 7-year rye cask strength. Again, really delicious rye. If any of you have had a chance to try that one, it's really delicious. But yeah, it just didn't hold up here. Next up is letter K, which is the, are you serious? No way. Letter K is the Michter's barrel proof rye from Michter's. And you know what? That doesn't surprise me. Michter's is one of my favorite cask strength rye whiskeys to drink, but they do come in at a lower proof normally. And again, I think this is a product of something being really good on its own versus other stuff that are a little bit of a higher proof. So, last one that was eliminated. Here we go. Letter N belongs to Midwinters Night's Dram. So letter N goes to the Midwinters Night's Dram. Again, we talk about how good and how coveted this bottle is, but there are better ryes. There are 7 better ryes that I thought were better than this. So that's all I got to say. Midwinters Night's Dram gone. So, holy shit. If you look at this list for my favorite ryes right now, Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye, the fucking 3-year-old rye that, come on, the Middlewest Port Pumpernickel Rye, Found North 17-year cask strength, Redwood Empire Emerald Giant, Barrel Craft Seagrass 16-year, and the New Riff Sherry Barrel Proof, and lastly, the Sagamore Sherry Rye. When I look at the list and I think about it, this is not surprising to me at all. The 4-gate Peri Peri, that was kind of a holy shit moment for me. But okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye is fantastic. The Grinch is side-eyeing you. He's always side-eyeing me. New Riff for the World. Okay. So this is I want to just double check my these two are amazing. I just want to make sure I get the order right here. Oh gosh. I think I like that one a little bit more. Oh shit. I think this is the order now. Things here. Okay. We have 585 people in the chat, guys. Guys, these are my Ryes of the year. Write these down, because these are the ones you're going to want to seek out, because they're that good. All right. 7th place. 7th place goes to... This is the Redwood Empire Emerald Giant. So here's the bottle. Where you at, man? Here it is. 7th place, Redwood Empire Emerald Giant. Look at that. This was easily for me, the best of the cask strength variants. I was very disappointed in the cask strength Lost Monarch. I don't know about you guys, but I really thought that was going to be one of my top bourbons of the year, and it wasn't. There was something very disconnected about it, but this rye was absolutely delicious. So, cask strength Monarch. Now, this one here, oh, jeez. What is that? Number 6 goes to the Found North. The Found North number, batch number 3 was my 6th place winner. Absolutely delicious rye whiskey. This had a mash bill. So real quick, the thing that Found North does, real quick, guys, is they don't have a normal mash bill breakdown. What they do is there's 100% of a rye, 100% of a corn, and 100% of a barley. They take pieces of that and then they make a blend. It's not a regularly distilled mash bill that you would expect from a distillery. So this thing is 64% rye, 32 corn, 4% barley. Absolutely delicious. Batch number 3. I'm telling you guys have to go get batch number 6, which is that Weeder. Fucking amazing. Okay. Yeah, all Found North batches are excellent. I totally agree, Scott. Okay. All right. We're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Wait, hold on. Let me check these off. We have the Found North. The fucking hard truth is still in the mix. I can't believe this shit. Okay, here we go. This one is this one. Letter E is the Barrel Craft Seagrass 16-year Canadian whiskey rye. Holy shit. Oh my God. Here we go. Where you at, man? There she is. Wrong side. There we go. Barrel Craft Spirit 16-year. So the regular Seagrass was my number 1 last year. And I think that was because, I don't know, maybe being the fact that it was all Canadian this year just didn't quite get there. But yeah, Seagrass, 16 years old. Guys, we're getting into it here. The top 4 are, I think, all finished. Well, no, because the hard truth is still in the mix. What the fuck? Here we go. Number 4, letter B goes to. Letter B is the hard truth. Letter B is the hard truth. Sweet Mash Rye. Congratulations. Wow, number 4. Shit. Okay. 3rd, that one is the Middlewest Spirits. So Middlewest Port Pumpernickel Rye gets third place. Delicious. Fucking delicious. That means number 1 and 2, Sagamore and New Riff. I mean, I agree, Eric. I think the old Seagrass is better than the 16 year. That means we have first and second place are 2 sherry finishes. Number 2 is the Sagamore Sherry Finish Rye, and number 1, which is not surprising, is the New Riff Sherry. The New Riff Sherry Rye Whiskey is my mash and drum number 1 rye whiskey of the year. Look at this thing. Holy shit. Wow. So if you look at the top 3, this is my top 3 here. New Riff, Sagamore, Middlewest, ported Pumpernickel Rye. I mean, listen, you want to talk about stuff that's finished versus non-finished? That Hard Truth made it all the way to number 4, which was a pretty big surprise, actually, compared to whatever, you know, Michter's barrel proof. Holy shit. This was an amazing tasting. When you go through it and you see the results, the 3 top ryes for me were New Riff, Sagamore, Middlewest. The Port Perry Perry from Foregate, which I thought was going to easily be in the top 5, got eliminated in the early rounds. Holy shit. Holy shit. Is your porter cask rating from the sale? I can only find the 99.5, so mine is 120.8. So that makes a big difference for sure. What was the batch on number on the Hard Truth? The Hard Truth, which was 4th place, was batch number 4. This was batch 4. This is batch 4, guys, of Hard Truth. If you guys have not had Hard Truth rye whiskey, this is one of those ryes that you will be amazed by. You will be amazed by the quality, the deliciousness of what is in that bottle, especially for the age. Holy shit. Middlewest isn't even distributed in New York. They don't have a huge distribution yet, Ben. But Ben, if you want one, let me know, because these are just sitting around in Ohio. People are not buying this. I don't know why. Are they waiting for fucking Sazerac, which is a bullshit rye? It's a mixer. Sazerac is a mixer. This is a fucking rye whiskey. That's what you want to get. Wow. Please list your rank rising description. Signing off. Absolutely, Rugby Sevens. Yeah, we could definitely grab you one, Ben, if you want one, for sure. Okay. Yeah, New Riff Sherry Rye, my number 1 rye of the year. I mean, why not? This thing is an absolute flavor monster. It's proofy. It's got a long finish. It's viscous. This had everything that, I mean, it had everything. No way around it. Okay, guys, stick around here. Before we sign off, I'm going to pour the Parker's Heritage. So let me get rid of these glasses. I have one more fresh glass for you guys. Let's do a quick review of the Parkers. Come on, guys. Give me the super chats. I'll open that Parkers. Come on. Give it to me. Yeah, I'm still feeling pretty good, guys. Not really. Like I said, I take small sips of this stuff. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to be doing a full review of this pretty soon. But this is the Parker's Heritage Double Barrel Blend, 67% Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, aged 13 years, and 33% Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, aged 15 years, 132.2 proof. Wow. Okay. Cracking it open right here with you guys. Here we go. I'm going to keep that beautiful topper. America. That's for ADHD whiskey. You know what? Let me pour a little bit of water in here. Want to kind of get that cleaned up. Here we go. You know, folks always ask me, what do you do with all the drams when they're left over? I usually just blend them all and see what happens. So I have a bunch of really, really good ryes. Just going to blend together and see what happens. So get rid of that. There's still a little bit of water in there. I don't want to water it down. Kobe Hawk says, why not? Cheers, Kobe. All right, here we go. First taste of the Parker's. Now, I've heard really good things about this. I'm not sure if it's how good it is. See how it goes here. Because now we're switching from rye to bourbon. So now we have to kind of shift the mindset here. Wow. Okay, so first thing you get on the nose is a definite Heaven Hill oak forward profile. There's peanuttiness to it, peanut butteriness, a little bit of chocolate. Oh, thanks, EJ. Say, tell them Happy New Year to Lily. Give her a big, just grab Lily, mush her face for me. I love bulldogs. Yeah, it's dark as fuck, for sure. Check out the color here. Look how dark that is, guys. I know you want to sip. So I don't know if you guys know, but Parker Beam, let's see here. So Parker Beam did have ALS, and you know it's an extremely debilitating disease, and Parker Beam had it. So when Parker Beam passed away, Parker's was kind of signed on to the fact that basically anytime anyone buys a bottle of Parker's, some of the proceeds would go to support ALS and research to help cure it. So I don't really think a lot of people know that about the Parker's Heritage Series. It's one of the aspects of it that I love. So I was glad to finally find one and help that cause, honestly. So let's see here. Thank you so much, Giselle. Appreciate you, man. Is it as dark as the upcoming Driftless Glens? Adam, yeah, I don't even think it's that dark. The Driftless Glens single barrels that we have coming out from the Master Journey Whiskey Club are ridiculously dark. All right, let's try this one here, guys. Cheers. Oh, man. It's very dense. I'll give it that. It's very dark, dense. It's extremely oaky. A little bit of chocolate. Oh, wow. So around Easter time, You know when they come out with the Cadbury eggs, the Cadbury candy shell eggs? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Let me know in the chat. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. The Cadbury eggs, not the cream eggs, but the milk chocolate filled eggs that Cadbury comes out with. That's what that tastes like. It is a straight Cadbury milk chocolate candy shell egg on this bourbon. Holy shit. Oh. It's not even close. Is the hard truth worth $86? Oh, 86? Is it that much? I don't know, SD Gunner. I don't know if I'd pay 86 for it, but it is a very impressive rye for the age. That's the only thing I could say. I don't know if I'd pay 86 for it. I would wait until you could find it at retail. I think at retail it's like 60. Don't pay 83 for it, dude. Don't pay 83 for it. It kind of pisses me off that when I see Parker's Barrel marked up to the sky due to the ALS charity of each Parker's Barrel. But you got to remember, even at retail, proceeds of that go to ALS. So when it's marked up, it's not like any more of that is going to the ALS charity. I think that's just, people being greedy, to be honest. Thanks for the entertainment, says Mike Franklin. Andrew Clark says, give us a little insight. Is the AC Jacobs Well going to be in your top flight for 22 bourbons of the year? Andrew Clark, yes. The Hardins Creek Jacobs Well will definitely be in my bourbons of the year, for sure. Oh, my God. It's very good. I'll say that. If you like Cadbury eggs, the Cadbury milk chocolate eggs that come out around Easter time, that's what that smells like. There's like a candy shell aspect to it with like this milk chocolate, a little bit of spice. That is delicious. Well, I'm glad I got that. All right. Full review coming soon. And I think it drinks under the 132.2 proof that it has. Yeah, this one is, some of these can be hit or miss, but this one is stupid good. It's really good. Oh my God. Those eggs in the freezer are yes, absolutely. Brandon St. Pierre, I totally agree with you. I put those, I don't know if I put them in the freezer, but I do put them in the refrigerator. I gotta try in the freezer though. Those Cadbury eggs, amazing. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks so much for hanging out with me as I went through all these different all these rye whiskeys of the year here, with new Riff Sherry Finish Barrel Proof coming out as my #1 rye whiskey of the year. Holy shit! Followed by the Sagamore Spirit Sherry, the Middlewest Pumpernickel Rye, and fourth place was the Hard Truth Sweet Mash, which is a big surprise as well. So, cheers! Thanks for hanging out. Next week on Wednesday, we have a couple of different blind flights that got sent to me that I'm going to be trying as well. So be on the lookout for that. If you're in Louisville tomorrow, shoot me a message either on Instagram or email me, and let me know if you guys are, if any of you are around. Going to be over at Evan Williams, going to be hanging out, doing a huge video for Heaven Hill, so I cannot wait to do that. Cheers. Thanks for hanging out. As I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. Go check out Women in Whiskeys right now. I think they're going live. Cheers to you guys, and I'll see you next week here on The Master Drum. Take care, everybody. Cheers.